The alien with purple eyes. Darkness. Silence. Then, light. A human man opened his eyes. His head hurt. His body felt cold. He was lying on a metal table. Strange lights blinked above him. The room smelled like burnt metal and chemicals. He tried to move, but his hands were strapped down. Panic. Where was he? He looked around. The walls were smooth and silver. Everything looked wrong. Too clean. Too quiet. He was not on Earth. He tried to remember anything. His name, his past. Earth. Yes, Earth. He remembered blue skies. A child laughing. And then, fire. Screams. Ships in the sky. And then, nothing. A sudden hiss. The door opened. His heart stopped. A figure stepped into the room. Tall. Thin. Skin pale like moonlight. Long white hair flowed down her back. Her ears were long and pointed. But the most shocking thing, her eyes. They glowed purple, like stars. She froze when she saw him awake. Her mouth opened slightly. She didn't speak for a long time. She just stared. He stared back. She stepped closer, carefully, slowly. Then she spoke. Her voice was soft, but strange. "You're awake." He didn't answer. He didn't know what to say. The alien woman stepped closer. Her eyes locked on his face. "I don't believe it," she whispered. You're human." The man blinked. He opened his mouth, but only one word came out. "Where?" She tilted her head. "You can speak. Incredible." "Where am I?" he asked again. "You're on a medical bay. This is the ship Varelian, traveling through Sector 9. We found you inside a wreck, deep in forgotten space. I don't remember." "That is expected," she said. "Your kind hasn't existed for over 300 years. He stared at her. "What?" The alien woman leaned closer. Her purple eyes searched his face like she was trying to find a lie. "You don't understand, do you? You shouldn't be alive. Humans were wiped out during the galactic purge. You're not supposed to exist." She looked shaken. He felt cold all over. "My name is Varelia," she said, "captain of this ship." Who am I?" She paused. "We don't know. The wreckage you were found in was ancient, buried under dust. No records matched your DNA. But there is no doubt. You are human." His heart pounded in his chest. "Earth?" he asked. She frowned. "Gone. Turned to ash long ago." Silence filled the room. He wanted to scream, cry, hit something. But he did none of that. He just lay there, silent, frozen. Varelia looked at him again. Something had changed in her expression. Less fear, more curiosity. Even something gentle. "I've studied your kind," she said softly. "In history records, old ruins. I never thought I'd see one alive. Why? Why are you helping me?" She didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, "Because I don't believe you're a threat, and because I want to understand." Then she placed a small device near his straps. The restraints opened with a click. He sat up slowly. His arms ached, but he was free. Varelia watched him carefully. She didn't back away. She didn't raise a weapon. "You must stay hidden," she said. "The crew can't know you're awake." "Why?" "They would turn you in. Humans are dangerous history to them. You're a ghost from a war no one wants to remember." "Why are you different?" She smiled faintly. "Because I don't fear ghosts." Suddenly, an alarm beeped. Varelia turned to a panel. Her eyes widened. "Oh no." "What is it?" the man asked. "A signal. A galactic authority ship is approaching. They're scanning our vessel, looking for an anomaly." She looked back at him. "They're looking for you." The man stood up, legs weak but working. His fists clenched. "What are you going to do?" he asked. Varelia looked at him, her voice calm but strong. "I'm going to hide you." "But why?" She took a deep breath. "Because I don't think you're just a lost human." He frowned. "Then what am I?" She stared into his eyes. "I think you're something more. And I want to find out what." As the alarm blared louder, Varelia grabbed his hand and pulled him toward a hidden panel. "Follow me. And don't stop, no matter what happens." The panel slid open. He looked at her one last time. Her purple eyes met his. "You're not supposed to be here," she whispered, "but I'm glad you are." And then they disappeared into the shadows. "You're not supposed to exist." The hidden passage was narrow and dark. The human moved quickly behind Varelia, ducking under wires and stepping over broken panels. The ship's walls groaned around them like something old and tired. The red alarm lights flashed behind the cracks in the metal. The voice of the ship's eye echoed from the ceiling. "Warning. Unregistered life form detected. Incoming authority patrol. Please prepare for inspection." Varelia didn't slow down. "You said they're looking for me," the human whispered, breathing hard. "How do they know?" Varelia's voice was calm. "This ship ran a deep scan when we found your wreck. Something in your body. It sent out a signal. It was old but strong. I think it woke something up." "Something in my body?" She nodded. "You're carrying something. Ancient." They reached a hidden room near the engine bay. It was small, filled with old crates and broken tech. Varelia pulled a panel from the wall and pressed a hidden switch. A door opened, just large enough for a person to crawl inside. "In here," she said. The human crawled in. It was cold and tight. He curled up, heart pounding. Varelia handed him a small device. "Press this only if someone finds you. I'll come. I promise." He nodded, gripping the device tightly. She looked at him one last time. "You're not supposed to exist," she said quietly. "And yet, here you are." Then the door shut. Darkness. Time passed slowly. He listened to the distant sounds of footsteps, voices, and strange alien speech through the walls. His breathing was loud in the silence. He thought about Earth. He remembered trees, music, a warm smile from someone he couldn't name. But everything else was a blur, like smoke in the wind. Was he really the last? Footsteps came closer. He held his breath. The voices were outside the hidden room now. One male, one female. Scan shows a pulse. Human. It must be real. Impossible. They were wiped out. Still, we should report it. The High Council will reward us. No, this is Captain Varelia's ship. She wouldn't hide something like that, would she? Silence. Stay quiet. Watch her. If she slips, we act. They left. The human exhaled slowly. So it was true. He was being hunted. But why? An hour later, the door opened again. Light. Cool air. Varelia's face. "Come. It's safe. For now." He followed her through the back halls. They reached her private quarters, a room full of alien books, glowing star maps, and strange artifacts. It was quiet here, peaceful. He sat on the floor, tired. Varelia gave him water and food. The food was soft, blue, and tasted like nothing, but it helped. He looked at her. "Why are you helping me?" She sat across from him, folding her legs. "I've spent my life studying lost worlds, ancient species, forgotten wars. But humans, they were more than just warriors. You were dreamers, builders, fighters. You left marks on the stars. And then you vanished. Because of the galactic purge?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "A long war. The humans fought the authority. They feared you, so they destroyed everything. Burned your planets, erased your history. Even the word human became a curse in some sectors. Then how am I still alive? I don't know. That's what scares me." He looked down at his hands. "Maybe I was frozen. Maybe I'm a mistake." She shook her head. "No, you're not a mistake. You're a warning. Or maybe a message." There was a long silence between them. Then the human looked at her and asked, "Do you believe I'm dangerous?" Virelia paused. "I believe you can be dangerous. But right now, no, you're lost, confused, alone. That's not danger. That's human." He almost smiled. But then the ship shook. Lights flickered. A loud voice echoed. "This is Galactic Authority Ship Valoris. Prepare for full inspection. All crew to positions." Virelia stood quickly. "They're here." Two armored soldiers stepped into the control room. Their suits were black and silver, faces hidden behind reflective masks. The Authority's symbol, 3 stars inside a sharp circle, shined on their chest plates. Virelia stood with her hands behind her back, calm and professional. "Captain Virelia," one soldier said, "we detected an ancient human signature on your ship." "There was a scan error," she replied. "We found a dead relic ship. The system might have misread the signal. My crew found nothing living." The soldier stared at her. His voice was cold. "If we find that you are hiding anything, it will be considered treason." "You're free to search," she said. They searched. Virelia's quarters, her ship, the engine bay. But not the secret passage, not the hidden wall. They left with warnings and suspicion in their voices. After they were gone, the human came out again. His legs trembled. Virelia looked at him. "That was close." He nodded. "They'll come back, won't they?" She nodded. "They won't stop until they find out what you are." He looked at her, voice shaking. "Then I need to find out too. I need to know who I am, what's inside me, why I'm still alive." Virelia smiled faintly. "Good. Then we start together." She stood and pulled a map from the wall. A glowing star map appeared. One point blinked red. "There's a planet," she said. "Pagzeros 9. A forbidden place. Old human ruins are buried there. Maybe we'll find answers." The human stood beside her. His hands were still shaking, but his eyes were steady. The chase through the stars. Stars streaked across the dark window like white fire. The ship was running, not drifting, not cruising, running. Virelia sat in the pilot chair, her hands gripping the controls tightly. Her eyes glowed faintly with tension. Behind her, the human stood, watching the stars. They were in a small scout vessel now, stolen from her own cargo bay. She had tricked her crew, faked a systems failure, and escaped with him while the Authority ship was distracted. Now they were fugitives. The human leaned forward. "They'll follow us, won't they?" "Yes," she said simply. "They will. The Authority doesn't let anomalies escape. I'm an anomaly." "You're worse," she replied. "You're a question they don't want answered." The ship's screen blinked red. "Incoming signal. 2 ships behind us. Fast." Virelia cursed under her breath. "They're faster than I thought." The human looked at the radar. 2 small dots were growing closer. "What do we do?" "We run harder." She pulled a lever. The ship jumped again, faster than light. But the strain was clear. Sparks flew from the panel. A warning buzzed through the ship. The lights dimmed. "I can't jump like that again," Virelia muttered. "We'll tear apart." The human turned to her. "Then let me help." She looked at him. "You don't know how to fly." "No," he said. "But I know machines." He didn't know how he knew, but he did. He ran to the back of the ship, toward the engine room. The heat was strong. The core pulsed with energy. He opened the panel and stared at the circuits. It was alien tech, but somehow it wasn't unfamiliar. His fingers moved without thought, adjusting wires, linking systems, boosting the engine shield. Some part of him remembered this. Maybe not his name, but this. This felt like home. Up in the cockpit, Varelia saw the results instantly. Power surge. The ship steadied. The lights brightened. The Authority ships were still behind, but now they weren't gaining. "You did something," she said over the comm. "I think I bought us time," he answered. "Good," she replied. "Because we're not just running. We're going to Xaros 9, the ruined planet. Yes, if the answers are there, we'll need to reach it before they do." Behind them, in the cold void of space, the Authority ships locked weapons. Inside one ship, a tall figure in a black cloak watched the screen. His face was hidden by a metal mask. His voice, when he spoke, was like glass breaking. "Alive. After 300 years. Impossible." An officer beside him hesitated. "Should we destroy the ship?" "No," the masked figure said. "Not yet. I want to know what secrets the last human holds." He touched a button. "Send the hunter drone." The human sat back in the cockpit beside Varelia. His face was pale. Sweat clung to his forehead. She looked at him. "You pushed your body too hard." He nodded. "I'll be fine. Just tired." She handed him a small silver cube. "Breathe from this." He inhaled. Cool, mint-like air filled his lungs. He relaxed slightly. Then, alarm. "Warning. Unidentified object approaching fast." "What now?" he asked. Varelia's eyes narrowed. "It's not a ship. It's a hunter drone." The screen showed a silver sphere flying toward them. It moved like a shark in water, silent, fast, deadly. "What is that thing?" he asked. "It doesn't stop," she said. "It doesn't sleep. It doesn't miss. And if it reaches us?" She didn't answer. The drone closed in. "Hold tight," Varelia said. She spun the ship hard. The stars outside twisted. The drone adjusted instantly, matching speed. It fired. A laser shot cut through space, barely missing the engine. "Shields down to 60%, the ship warned. The human grabbed the co-pilot controls. "I have an idea," he said. Varelia glanced at him. "I hope it's a good one." He tapped into the scanner systems, rerouted power from weapons to a side module. "What are you doing?" "Sending a ghost signal. Fake ship signature ahead of us. It'll chase the wrong target for a moment." He sent the pulse. The drone hesitated. Then it veered left. "Now," he shouted. Varelia hit the jump. The stars bent. The drone vanished behind them. Silence. Then, laughter. Varelia turned to him, eyes wide. "You're full of surprises. I wish I knew where they come from," he said quietly. She looked at him for a long moment. "You're not a normal human," she said. "You move like a soldier, think like an engineer, hide like a spy." He nodded slowly. "But I don't remember being any of those things. Maybe someone made sure you wouldn't." They finally exited jump near Xaros 9. The planet was dead. Brown clouds swirled around a cracked surface. Giant structures stuck out like broken bones. Old cities turned to dust. The planet looked like it had been burned and left to rot. "That's it?" he asked. She nodded. "The last known human archive was hidden here, or so the legends say." "And you believe legends?" She smiled slightly. "Legends are just forgotten truths." The ship landed near a collapsed tower. They stepped out into the wind. The sky was red. The ground felt like ash. But beneath the dust, machines slept. The human knelt and touched a metal plate. His hand fit perfectly into the groove. The panel lit up. A soft chime echoed. And the ground opened. Varelia's eyes widened. Only human DNA could do that. They stared down into the hole. A staircase spiraled deep into the dark. He looked at her. She gave a small nod. "Let's go." The secret hidden in his blood. The staircase led down into cold darkness. The human stepped carefully, one hand tracing the wall. It felt smooth, metallic, ancient. Lights flickered to life as he passed, blue symbols glowing on the walls, responding to him. Varelia followed close behind. Her eyes were alert. Her hand hovered near her blaster, just in case. "Nothing down here should be alive," she whispered. He looked back. "Are you sure?" "No," she admitted. "That's what scares me." They reached the bottom. A massive door stood before them. Black metal. No handle. Just a strange circular symbol in the center. 3 rings around a star. The human stepped forward. His hand moved again, almost on its own. He pressed the center of the star. The rings spun. Lights ignited. The door opened. Behind it was a chamber larger than any room he had ever seen. Tall pillars reached toward a ceiling lost in shadow. In the center stood a glowing platform. Around it, machines, screens, alien symbols, all quiet, waiting. It felt like walking into a forgotten cathedral. "What is this place?" he asked. Varelia stepped slowly across the floor. "A command center," she said, "buried for centuries, and still alive." They moved toward the platform. Suddenly, movement. A figure stepped out of the shadows. Varelia drew her weapon instantly. "Stop," she shouted. The figure raised both hands. "Don't shoot. I'm not with them." It was a woman. Not like Varelia. This one was human. Or almost. Her eyes glowed faintly blue. Her skin was pale, but marked with cybernetic lines. Her voice sounded half-digital. The human stared at her. "You're human." She nodded. "Half human, half machine. I was grown in a lab, programmed to wait. I've been asleep for 300 years. "Waiting for what?" Varelia asked. The woman turned toward the human. "For him." He stepped back, confused. "Me?" She nodded slowly. "You were part of Project Sentinel. The last hope of Earth. A weapon. A seed. A commander. You were sent into space just before the purge, frozen inside a hidden pod. Your mission: survive, awaken, and lead the return, if the time was right." "I don't remember any of that." "You weren't meant to," she said. "Your memory was locked. To protect you. And everyone else." She walked toward a console and pressed a button. A hologram appeared, showing images of Earth, then war, fire, destruction. Humans fought the authority for freedom. You lost. But not everyone surrendered. Some of your leaders created you, not as a soldier, but as a symbol. She turned to him again. "Inside your blood is a code. Ancient. Powerful. It can awaken a system hidden across the galaxy. A network of AI protectors, called Sentinels. They sleep now. But if activated, they can shift the balance of power." He was silent. Varelia looked at him. "If this is true, you could change everything." He looked down at his hands. "I don't feel like a weapon." The woman stepped closer. "You're not. You're a choice." Suddenly, alarms echoed from deep within the base. The console blinked red. "Warning. Signal detected. Enemy ship in orbit." Varelia cursed. "They followed us." The woman nodded. "They've been watching you since you left that wreck." They feared this moment. She pointed at the center platform. "You must activate the system now. If you die, the last key is lost." He stepped onto the platform. It scanned him. Lights turned green. A deep voice echoed through the chamber. "IDNTITY MACTSHED. Commander Co-Environed. Welcome." Holograms filled the room. Maps, ancient code, sleeping machines hidden across systems. Then the voice said, "GD neat iki loktik DTKTED. Authorization required. Blood sample needed." The woman handed him a small silver blade. "1 drop. That's all it takes." He hesitated. Then he cut his palm. A single drop of blood fell onto the scanner. Everything changed. The chamber lit up. The walls vibrated. A second voice echoed. Stronger, deeper, alive. Sentai ni il koari e wakiinid. A huge machine rose from the floor. Tall, armored, glowing with energy. The voice continued. Commander, orders. Varelia stared, stunned. The human swallowed hard. Can you protect this base? He asked. Yes. Then prepare. We're not alone. Above the surface, the black ship of the Authority descended. The masked figure stepped out, his cloak moving like smoke. He stared at the ruins, eyes glowing faint red. He's here. Soldiers followed behind him, silent, armed. The hunter drone floated above, scanning the ground. Burn the surface, he said. Find the entrance. No one leaves. Underground, the chamber prepared for battle. The sentinel stood ready. The human turned to Varelia and the hybrid woman. We have one shot, he said. Varelia nodded. Then we make it count. The woman opened a new tunnel, leading to an escape hatch. I'll hold the system from here. If they reach me, they might shut it down. You need to escape, reach the next activation site. There are more, he asked. She smiled. Dozens, waiting for you. He looked at her. What's your name? She paused. I was never given one, but you can call me Mira. He smiled. Thank you, Mira. She nodded. Then he and Varelia ran. They reached the surface just as the ground exploded. Enemy ships were landing. Soldiers poured out, but the sentinel broke through behind them, glowing, huge, and unstoppable. It roared as it struck the enemy line, scattering soldiers like toys. The masked Authority figure stood still, watching. Then, for the first time, he spoke a name. Subject 7, the last human. Varelia and the human ran toward the edge of the crater where their ship was hidden. Shots rang out. Explosions shook the ground. But they made it. As the ship lifted off, the human looked down. Mira stood at the edge of the ruins, holding the line. He pressed his hand to the glass. I'll come back, he whispered. Varelia flew the ship high into the clouds. Behind them, the sentinel roared again. The first spark had been lit. The weapon of the ancients. The stars outside the cockpit spun like rivers of silver light. The human sat in silence, staring at the dark sky. His hand was wrapped in bandages, still sore from the cut he made to unlock the sentinel core. His blood had awakened something ancient, something powerful, but also something dangerous. Varelia piloted the ship quietly. Her sharp eyes flicked between controls and the radar. We lost them, she said finally. He nodded, but his voice was distant. For now, they had escaped Xeros 9, barely. Mira, the half-human eye, was still down there, guarding the newly awakened sentinel. The Authority wouldn't stop hunting them, not after what they'd seen. He turned toward Varelia. Why me? He asked. Why put all of this into one man? She glanced at him. You weren't just one man. You were part of something bigger. Project Sentinel wasn't about war. It was about memory, legacy. If the world forgot what humans once stood for, someone had to carry the truth. But I don't remember who I was. Maybe, she said gently, you're not supposed to remember the past. Maybe you're meant to write the future. They flew for hours. Finally, they reached an old beacon, a secret signal Mira had given them. A small moon hovered alone in a quiet system. It looked lifeless. But beneath its dusty surface was another secret. They landed in a crater. Varelia scanned the terrain. There's a structure under us. It's buried deep. They stepped out of the ship. The wind was cold, the air thin. The human followed her toward a rocky wall. Varelia pressed her hand to a smooth stone, and it shimmered. The rock vanished, revealing a tunnel. How did you know this would be here? He asked. I didn't, she said. But the old codes Mira gave us. They led here. This moon was never charted by the authority. Too small, too quiet, perfect for hiding. They walked into the tunnel. After a few steps, lights flickered on, dim and golden. The passage curved downward, deeper and deeper. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. They weren't human, but they weren't alien either. They were something in between. After what felt like miles, they entered a vast underground vault. The human stopped, stunned. In the center of the chamber floated a machine, unlike anything he had ever seen. Not a weapon, not a vehicle, but alive. It looked like a silver sphere, with energy lines pulsing across its surface. Small rings floated around it, spinning slowly. Every few seconds, it sent out a soft hum, like it was breathing. Virelia's voice dropped to a whisper. "This is it, the real weapon." He stepped forward. "What is it?" A voice echoed. "Welcome, human." Sentinel DNA recognized. Preparing system memory playback. The sphere projected a hologram. The image showed Earth before the purge. Cities glowing with light. Humans working with machines in peace. Then came the war. The burning skies. The authority fleets. But in secret, a group of humans built something no enemy could destroy. An intelligence called Aether. Not designed to fight, but to outlast. Aether was placed in hidden vaults, seated across the stars, connected through human bloodlines. Only a true human, chosen and encoded, could activate it, and only with full access to Aether could the ancient weapon be revealed. The weapon was not destruction. It was awakening. The human frowned. "I don't understand. How is awakening a weapon?" Virelia looked at him. "Because the authority controls by erasing. They erase history, culture, memory. If you can awaken the truth, you can shatter their control." The voice of Aether continued. "You, Commander, are the final key. Your blood is the last signal. If you link with Aether now, the full network of sentinels will activate across the galaxy." The sphere floated closer. "Do you accept the connection?" He hesitated, then nodded. "I accept." The sphere opened. A beam of light scanned him. Pain surged through his body. Like fire and ice all at once, images flashed in his mind. People, names, voices. He saw a woman smiling, a scientist. "We'll see you again one day." He saw Earth, green, alive. Then darkness. And now he was back. He collapsed to the floor. Virelia rushed to him. "Are you all right?" He opened his eyes. "I remember my name," he said softly. "My real name." "What is it?" "Commander Eli Mercer, Earth Defense Unit, Project Sentinel Team 7. She smiled. "Welcome back, Eli." He stood slowly. "But there's more," he said. "I saw the others, the rest of the Sentinel team. They were launched too, not just me. You're saying there are more like you?" He nodded. "If they're still alive, we have to find them." Aether's voice returned. "First signal sent. 1 sentinel online. 6 remaining." Suddenly, the vault trembled. An explosion rocked the tunnel. Virelia's comm lit up. A voice crackled through. "This is Mira. They found me. I'm holding them off, but they sent another drone. Bigger, smarter. They know about the weapon." Eli stood tall. "We need to get to the next vault. Fast. But how do we find them?" Aether's sphere sent out a beam. A star map filled the air, 7 points blinking. Only one was green. The others were still dark. But one was close. "Next stop," Eli said, "is in R3. Before they could move, another explosion hit. The entrance was collapsing. Virelia grabbed his arm. "Go, the exit tunnel." They ran as the chamber fell around them. Dust filled the air, the ground cracked. But behind them, the Aether core floated calmly, watching, waiting. Back on their ship, Eli sat down, breathing hard. Varelia took the pilot's seat. "NR3," she said. "It's a gas giant with a moon. Dangerous system. No authority presence." "Perfect," he replied. She glanced at him. "You look different now." He nodded. "I am different now. Do you remember what you were fighting for?" He looked out the window. "I remember enough to know this isn't just about humans anymore. It's about truth. About freedom. About giving every species a choice." Virelia smiled. "Then let's go remind the galaxy what humans were made of. They're already here." The planet NR3 hung like a silent giant in the black void. It was a gas world, massive, swirling with red storms and electric blue clouds. But it wasn't the planet they came for. It was the moon. Cold, rocky, forgotten, and hiding another secret. Eli Mercer stood at the edge of the moon's cliff, his boots pressing into fine lines of code flooded his visor. Corrupt, corrupt, fragmented. Then, one clear phrase. Sentinel override. Awaiting DNA match. He cut his hand again. The blood fell. The cube shuddered. The red light turned blue. Override accepted. A deep voice echoed. Sentinel node 2 restored. Syncing to Aether core. Eli sighed in relief. But then, booms above. The chamber ceiling shook. "We have to go." "Now," Varelia said. They ran toward the exit. Outside, chaos waited. Authority troops opened fire the moment they saw them. Red bolts burned the dust. Eli grabbed Varelia and ducked behind a rock. "We can't reach the ship," she shouted. "I know," he said. "We'll make them chase us." He pulled a grenade from her belt. "What are you?" He threw it behind the enemy line. The explosion shattered a hill. Smoke clouded the sky. They ran into the dust storm, dodging blasts, rolling over rocks, diving through shallow craters. A ship roared above. But it wasn't the Authority. It was Sentinel-01. Mira's voice crackled over the comm. "Jump in." A hatch opened midair. Eli grabbed Varelia's hand. They leaped. The doors slammed shut behind them. Inside, Mira stood, alive, injured, but smiling. "I told you I'd find you." Eli hugged her. "You got off Saros 9. "Barely," she said. "But I had help." From the shadows stepped someone else. A woman. Human. Familiar. Eli froze. His voice cracked. "Claire." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "Eli." She ran to him. They embraced tightly. Claire was Sentinel Unit 2, his second in command. The last time he saw her, Earth was burning. "I thought you were dead." "I thought you were." Virelia smiled quietly. She didn't speak, but her eyes held something warm. She knew this moment wasn't hers, and that was okay. Claire pulled back, serious now. "There's more coming," she said. Kale was only one of many. The link has spread. It's in the Authority now. In their machines, their leaders, their children. "We don't stand a chance alone," Mira added. Eli stood tall. "We're not alone. The Sentinels are waking, one by one." He looked out the window as the moon vanished behind them. "They wanted silence, but we're making noise now." Mira touched a console. "Signal ready." Eli nodded. "Broadcast it." A pulse of light exploded from the ship, spreading across stars. A message, a call, to every hidden sentinel, to every survivor, to every spark still burning in the dark. We are here. We remember. We return. The return of humanity. The galaxy was waking up. For 3 centuries, the name human was a whisper, a myth, a memory buried in history and fear. But now, signals were lighting up on every star map. Ancient bunkers flickered back to life. Hidden sentinels stirred in deep space, responding to one voice. Commander Eli Mercer, the last human, had become the first. Aboard the Sentinel-01, Eli stood before a holographic display. Dots blinked across the star map. Green, one after another. Each was a Sentinel node reactivating. Each was a spark. Claire stood beside him, her voice steady but tense. 4 Sentinels fully online. 3 are trying to break through deep jamming fields. And the Authority? Eli asked. They've started moving fleets. Fast. They know something's changed. Mira, half human, half machine, tapped into the network. Her eyes glowed. They're afraid. The link is in panic mode. Their control is slipping. Virelia stepped forward. If we hit them now, before they can regroup, we have a chance. Eli looked around. This wasn't just about running anymore. This was war. The Sentinel-01 met with 2 other awakened ships, Sentinel-03 and Sentinel-06. Each carried survivors, rebels, hybrid AI, and even alien allies, those who remembered the humans not as monsters, but as protectors. They formed a small fleet, a flicker of what once was, and what could be again. Their target, Valtrix Prime, the heart of the Authority, a planet-sized fortress surrounded by 6 moons, defense grids, and orbital weapons. No one had ever attacked it. No one had dared. But Eli wasn't no one. He was the echo of Earth's final hope. The Sentinels aligned in formation. Old protocols, never used, only dreamed of, activated across the ships. Operation Phoenix, Claire said softly. Eli nodded. Begin. As the fleet jumped to Valtrix Prime, Eli stood in front of the crew. He spoke through the ship's comms. His voice reached everyone. Human, alien, AI, hybrid. 300 years ago, they buried us. They erased our names, our worlds, our truth. They told the galaxy we were dangerous, that we started the war, that we burned ourselves down. He looked out the window as the stars bent around them. They lied. We didn't vanish. We were waiting. Valtrix Prime. Orbit. The Authority's sky cracked open as the Sentinel fleet dropped from hyperspace. Defense systems blinked to life. Alarm signals rang across the moons. Ships launched. Thousands. The enemy came like a storm. But the Sentinels did not break. They moved in unison. Ancient AI and human command sensed again for the first time in centuries. Eli stood at the helm of Sentinel-01, watching the battlefield unfold like a chessboard. Route full power to the kinetic shield grid, he ordered. Claire adjusted the panels. Done. Mira, he said, give me eyes on the link core. Mira's interface glowed. Located deep beneath the central citadel, protected by a planetary shield. Then we break the sky. Virelia led a strike team to the surface. She moved like lightning, blaster in hand, commanding a mix of rebels and hybrid sentinels. She broke through defense gates, sliced through enemy lines, until finally they'd reached the core spire. Eli's voice echoed in her comm. I'm coming down. Inside the core spire, everything was cold metal and blue light. A single figure stood in the center. Tall, draped in silver and black. The one they had seen in the vision. The first link-controlled prime. Not a human. Not an alien. Something built from both. Designed to erase the idea of freedom. Its voice was like a whisper inside every ear. You are late, Eli Mercer. Eli stepped forward. No armor. No weapon. Just truth. I'm not here to fight you, he said. I'm here to show them you're afraid. The figure tilted its head. Afraid. Yes, Eli said. Because we remember. The core trembled. All across the Authority systems. Machines hesitated. Ships paused. Programs broke. Mira's virus, coded from the restored Sentinel DNA, spread across the galaxy in seconds. It didn't destroy. It unlocked. Memory. Footage of Earth's last stand. Messages from lost colonies. Cries of children in the ashes, songs, dreams, laughter, pain. The full story, the truth, broadcast across every screen in every system. Aliens, machines, soldiers, civilians. Everyone saw, and everything changed. The core figure screamed, its voice breaking, shattering. Varelia fired the final shot. The shield fell. The sky turned white. And silence followed. Weeks later, the war was over, not because the Sentinels won by fire, but because they won with memory. The authority collapsed in days. Its leadership fled or surrendered. Millions across the stars rose up, demanding the truth they were never given. And at the center of it all stood a human, not a myth, not a ghost. Real. The new archive station, orbiting neutral world. Eli walked through a vast hall lined with banners, not of war, but of knowledge. One for each species that had joined the new coalition. At the center stood a single flame. The Earth Flame, a light taken from the last colony before the purge. It now burned again. A symbol of return. Claire approached him. "You still don't like giving speeches, huh?" Eli smirked. "Never did. But they need to hear from you." He nodded. Varelia stepped beside him. "They don't just need a human leader. They need a reason to believe." He looked at them both, then turned to the gathered crowd. Sentinels, aliens, survivors, dreamers. He took a breath and spoke. "I was born in a world that no longer exists, a place of blue skies and open hearts. I lost it, but not forever. Because the truth can sleep, but it never dies." He looked around the room. "You called us dangerous, but what we were, what we are, is proof that no darkness lasts forever." He raised a hand toward the flame. "Humanity has returned, not to conquer, not to rule, but to remember and to rebuild." He smiled. "With all of you." The flame burned brighter. Above the archive station, a symbol lit up in orbit, a hand holding a star. The mark of Earth, the mark of truth. Deep space, far beyond the known systems, an old satellite flickered, dust-covered, forgotten. It blinked once, then again. A voice whispered from it, low, ancient, human. "If you're hearing this, you're not alone." A light in the dark, a promise. Humanity had returned, and it would never be silent again.